Hey everybody, it's Monster back again with Opus Gaming, and I'm here today with our Hina Linkz deck profile. The reason I'm bringing Hina Linkz today is just because this is something I've been playing a lot of, trying to have some fun in the Digimon card game meta. We're waiting for Nats, and that's something that we've been testing a lot of in that BT11 format. But enough of that, let's get into this deck profile. Starting off, we're going to get straight into the eggs here. Right away, we have 4 Gurimon. It's just a really simple reason that we're running 4 of the Gurimon. It's only the egg that we want to see because we want to be consistently drawing just all the way throughout the game. That's something that is going to be a little bit different between this and a regular Hina Linkz deck. This is going to be a Dorbick version of it. Getting those pieces to hand is going to be super important. You're going to see that as we go through the list. With something being as important as Hina, we're just going to start off with the Tamers. We're on 4 Hina. I need 2 more alt arts, first of all, if anybody knows anybody with those. But for the Hina, what she does is she's going to be basically your pseudo memory tamer. She sets you up for your tamer, but she lets you digivolve your lines and still get their on play effects. Essentially what this deck wants to do is basically be a Mega Zoo, but do it for cheap. If you weren't playing the game when Mega Zoo was a very popular deck, it's just around bigger cards that have really large effects and going from level 6 to level 7. And with this deck, we are kind of bringing that vibe back. So for Hina, she's a staple in the deck. You really can't play this deck without 4 of her. So getting into the rookie lineup, though, this is going to be, we're going to start off with some of the techs. I've got 2 EX3, I believe, Agumons, and then 3 of the Searcher Agumons. The reason I'm playing these ratios is because since this deck is still mostly focused on being a Dragon Linkz deck with your level 6s and your level 5s, we want to find Hina right away. A lot of the times it goes, as far as priority goes, finding Hinas and then finding additional Hinas, and then you want to look for your big high cost cards and your big bombs that drop a floodgate effect at the end of the game. So starting off in our beginning game, we're going to be searching for Tamers pretty much nonstop. I will put anything to the bottom of the deck as long as it means that I can get to my Hina faster, because you live and die by Hina. So that's the reason for the 2 Agumons. This Agumon can search this one, and it's inheritable as well. So that's just something that's kind of cool that came up. So next set of rookies that we have here are the 4 Vorvamon, and the 4 Jazmon. These guys are going to be the In-archetype rookies, and they go extremely well with the deck. What the Vorvamon does is when you do play the Hina, it can pop a 3k or less DP Digimon, which is fantastic against things like Hydramon and Bloomlordmon and those go wide decks, even Jessmon and stuff like that, when they don't have their proper power boosts. And then his inheritable, though, is what's really important, is that when attacking, you can pop a Digimon that has 3000 DP or less. Once again, really good in those exact same matchups. You really just want to be clearing the board, and he's going to be one of the essential pieces in getting you there. Moving on to the Jazmon, when you do play a Hina, you gain a memory. That one doesn't come up too often, but the all turns plus 1k absolutely does. Very, very powerful, especially when you get into your endgame big bomb cards. That's going to be something that you're going to be looking for. Having that additional DP is really, really nice, and it goes on any of your boss cards, and that's really something that's really important. Is it doesn't matter which boss monster that you're going into, you're going to be utilizing that plus 1k, and you're going to see that again in our level 4 slots. So let's start off with actually the Dorbick part of the package. With the Dorbick stuff, this is going to be a Growlmon with the inheritable gain of memory. Your DNA Digivolve, this is going to be for the Dorbick / Ragna. This is how you go into Ragna. And then the Flareazimon. Playing 3 different cards that kind of facilitate the same engine seems kind of clunky or a little bit hard, but with Dorbicmon, it's cool because you cannot use the same name. So you're trying to diversify up the names as well as having as many of the good effects as you can and as many useful effects as you can. The real winners here are the Flareazimon and the Growlmon. You want these in your stack. At least you want to gain memory on deletion on your stack, and you definitely want to draw a card on deletion in your stack, because once you do play out that Dorbicmon, the next most important thing is going to be refueling your hand. It's going to cost a lot for you to put that card on the board, so you have to make a really big impact with it, but you can make that impact really, really easily. And then the Flamedramon is just in here to facilitate that DNA Digivolve. It's going to be your inheritable for that, and that's really all that it does, but it's a fantastic card. Just play it at 2. It's a Dragon Kid, so you can Jogress into it, or not Jogress into it. You can put it underneath a Dorbicmon when you play it, and then Jogress with your other level 6, with your black level 6. Getting into the In-archetype level 4s, though we do play a lot of level 4s, and they're not all for digivolving. Sometimes when you have a bricked out hand, you have to hard play some of them. These ones are the ones that are good to hard play, and you hold the other ones in hand for when you do see your digivolution lines. But this is going to be 4 of the Lavormon and 4 of the Jazaradmon. Let's start off with Jazaradmon. They both have the same on play effect, where it's going to be your searcher to find your Hina and your other dragon cards that fit into the Dragon Linkz archetype, which is it's huge. You can find your rookies, you can try find any level that you're missing on because you want to be digivolving in this deck. So these are your consistency pieces. Jazaradmon has that inheritable of +1 case when you hit the black level 3 and then you hit the black level 4. That's +2k in the same stack. Really, really good because they can both be they can both be used for Dorbicmon, so you can put them into the same Dorbicmon stack. Lavormon has the exact same inheritable as its rookie to pop a 3k DP or less. So I mean, once you have that on top of a Vorvamon in a stack, you're tearing apart Hydramon boards, you're tearing apart Jesmon boards, any deck that wants to go wide. You're gonna be a bane for those decks. So playing a high level 4 count, you really want your bottom end stuff. We're playing 13 rookies and then all the level 4s. But like I was saying before, not all the 4s are for digivolving, and that goes the same for the level 5s. So we'll start off with the only level 5 that's outside of archetype of the Hina Linkz, and that's gonna be Volcanicdramon. The inheritable is gonna be the same as that Flareazimon. And that is the only reason that it's in the deck. It's not crazy in archetype and it doesn't do anything all too crazy. But like I said before, replenishing your hand when you do play the Dorbicmon, because you can get a lot of advantage on the Dorbicmon, but you're very vulnerable in the turn that you drop it. So these effects are there as a cushion to make sure that you're able to recoup your hand and get yourself back into a good position. Because your level 6s can do a lot for you, and there's a lot of cards that can do a lot for you, but you need to see them. So if you dump a lot of your resources underneath the Dorbicmon, sometimes it can hurt. But moving on to the rest of level 5s, these are the bread and butter level 5s that we have for the deck. We're gonna start off with the Jazaradmon on play, or with a Hina. When you digivolve it and tap the Hina, you de-digivolve a Digimon by 1. If you tap multiple Hinas, this is something a lot of people know, but if you don't know, you tap a lot of Hinas and you can repeatedly de-digivolve. You don't have to, so you can put a card in the perfect spot. Like if you want to de-digivolve a Melga down to pass all of its protections and then try to pop it, that's a really good way to do it. And the inheritable on it is going to be security check +1. That's going to be really, really useful under all of your level 6s. It's really, really simple. Going into Lavagridamon, this Digimon's on play is, or when digivolving with Hina, you can delete one of your opponent's Digimon with 5k DP or less. And then with both of them, you can play out a Hina afterwards. That is also really good against those go wide boards. It's just more removal that you have, and it's a really consistent level 5. It's something that you really want to see if you are bricking and your opponent is sitting on a level 4 on board, or is sitting on anything on board, and you just need to get a little bit of value back. Lavagridamon is really where you want to be. And then its inheritable is when you pop one of your opponent's Digimon, you gain a memory. That is fantastic. That goes right alongside that Growlmon. And when you can put them both in the same stack and be gaining back, if you put them both in the same stack, you're now dropping Dorbicmon for 1, it's ridiculous. And then your Dorbicmon can also swing, so you can drop it on any turn. Those level 5s are just amazing. That's the reason we play them both at 4, and then we play the extra. Same logic as before. We're not using all of them to digivolve. Some of them get hard played. Some of them get stuffed under a Dorbicmon. So let's start off with the Dorbicmon here. This is gonna be a really big part of your deck. We're only one copy of Dorbicmon away from being a full-on Dorbicmon deck. This card is fantastic. When you play it, you digicross with a dragon type card, or not, yeah, anything that says dragon anything into it. You slot in all those amazing inheritables, and then you have this beat stick that just comes down onto the board. It pops something up to 13k right away, and then it can rush into anything else. So you can do a lot of damage to your opponent's established board, especially if you can take some hits or deal some hits early on, and it's a fantastic card to fall back on. Where you want to be with when you drop this card is you want to first establish digivolving up into one of your level, or not one of your level 6, your black level 6. Which is going to be the Metallicdramon. And then when you hard play Dorbicmon with the Flare or the Flamemon underneath it, that is going to let you jogress the 2 of them into our level 7. So that's how that combo works. But that's going to get us right into our Metallicdramon. which is going to be at 3 of and actually 2 of Volcanicdramon. I have an altar. Oh, these are both the altars. Okay. So starting off with the Volcanicdramon on play, he's going to pop your opponent's lowest cost or lowest DP Digimon. And then if he doesn't delete anything, your opponent cannot play cards with 5,000 DP or less for the rest of their turn. So that's his floodgate effect. And it's fantastic. It doesn't matter how much DP the card is, just as long as it's the lowest. So as you can imagine, something like Digivolving this, tapping Hina, popping something small, tapping Hina, popping something medium, and then tapping Hina, popping something big is really detrimental to your opponent. And if you have that 4th Hina, you then floodgate them. And his floodgate is really, really good against those same decks that we were talking about earlier, all those go wide decks that want to be playing cards. You cut them out of an entire DP threshold of cards that they can play. Going into the Metallicdramon, this card is, it's crazy to think that this card is actually like way better, but it's fantastic. It gives all your opponents Digimon de-Digivolve 1, and then it pops a card that is 5 or 6 costs, 5 costs or less. And then if it doesn't pop anything, you floodgate your opponent by making it so that they cannot Digivolve on their Digimon that are unsuspended. So that means that if they raise up a level 5, they can't Digivolve on the level 5 until it's rested. And this is a blocker with Reboot. So you can do all your damage on your turn, do all your push. This will restand, protect you, and now they have to be swinging with a Digimon that's pretty much already Digivolved and raising. That is something that they can play around, but at the end of the day, you're trying to put them back one turn with this and then drop your Dorbick on the next turn to go into your Ragna. And this card is just fantastic for doing that. I love Metallicdramon. This is next to my favorite finisher. It's between Metallic and Dorbick. Those 2 cards are fantastic. That's why they're both the 3-ofs. We play a lot of level 6s. This deck is a Mega Zoo style deck, and the reason that we have the Volcanicdramons in there is for that variety. Sometimes you just want to pop things at the end of the day. We do have 2 Ragnaloardmons, which do help us pop things, but sometimes we just got to get there quicker, and just playing out a Volcanicdramon can really, really get you there. Going into the Ragna, we play 2 Ragna. It's our level 7. The way you get into it was with the Joggers play that I was talking about earlier with a red and a black. So you cannot use Volcanicdramon and Dorbick, but you can use a Volcanicdramon with a Flamedramon in hand or in its inheritable with your Metallic. So the finding Metallic is really, really important. But yeah, it's findable. With the Ragna, what it does is, I will just read it off to us. When Digivolving, it has Blitz. And then when DNA Digivolving, for every 4 cards in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, delete one of your opponent's Digimon in play with a cost of 20 or less and trash the top of your opponent's security stack. So if you have 8 cards in this card's Digivolution stack, because you put the Dorbick and a fully Digivolve level 6, you're popping 2 cards, trashing 2 security, and then you're blitzing into your opponent for another one. It's really, really insane control. And then its all turns is once per turn, when a card is removed from a player's security stack, unsuspend this Digimon. We don't have any inheritable blockers, so that's not as important, but what is crazy is that it can protect itself. If your opponent does anything like a Shivamon, where when it unsuspends, it trashes your opponent's security, or something like an Ancient Beetlemon that triggers and trashes your opponent's security, when they pop something else, they can just no longer swing into that card. It's a really small factor in this deck, but it is something to touch on. Last card here is a Crimson Blaze. This is just for Hydramon, just for Jessmon, just like the red line in general. This could be a Gaia Force if that's what you want to play. This could be the Black Gaia Force or anything else that you want to play. The reason I'm on Crimson Blaze is because Hydramon is very good. This card is very good against Hydramon. It really, really locks them out and gives you a chance to really play, gets the extra cards or extra turns that you need under your belt. And I think it's a really, really good tech slot. Where you want to be, what I've realized though with this deck, is mostly in the realm of Digimon. Putting cards on the board is the most important thing. So that's really where I wanted to get with this deck profile. If you guys enjoy this, if you guys could drop a like, comment, subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. We just crescented the our 100 subscribers, so now we're on our way to our first 1,000. It's gonna be a long road, but if you guys want to join us on the journey, drop a subscribe, and I'd really appreciate it. Just kind of talking about the deck a little bit more, though. I really enjoy this deck. It's a really fun deck. It's not crazy competitive, only because you like need to see Hina. It's really hard to win when you don't see Hina because you have to give your opponent a lot of memory, and that's a lot of variance in how the matchups can go. But for the most part, this deck is really fun. I think you guys should check it out. And if you do check it out and you do test it out, let me know what you think down below.